things started. Let's get into this next game.
Yeah, and I've said it all night, but we keep getting nuggets of wisdom from the chat, and I wanna mention something that someone else said. Some advice is just roll higher. You know, we call it high rolling. I've seen some advice in the chat. Just roll higher. You know, just roll higher.
Just roll.
That's all.
Just roll higher.
You know,
okay, guys, it's that easy.
Might be good advice, but go ahead.
No, I was gonna be, as we get into this lobby, I'm reminded of what feels like maybe a simpler time when the world wasn't quite so crazy. But all I remember back is a player named Ziggy. And for those of you who watched last season, who watched Ziggy compete, Ziggy is, like myself, a fellow Canadian. He was one of our finalists last season in Season 4. But not only that, Ziggy has an adorable cat. And I feel like that's an important thing to point out. And not only does Ziggy have an adorable cat, but there was a funny story. We were actually trying to interview him for our Season 4 playoffs. And I asked if he could tilt the camera so that we could see his adorable cat sitting in the background. And he accidentally knocked over a cup of water on his desk and spilled it all over his computer equipment. And that's my fondest memory of Ziggy, and I felt really bad. Anyway, that's it. That was our tangent. I just wanted to get that out of the way because it's a great story. And you have the bias events and stuff as well. I think I have some Ziggy bias going into this.
What game was he competing in? Was it Auto Chess also, or was it?
We were competing in Underlords last season. We now have Auto Chess in the program.
Gotcha.
So
that's great. Like that's something I'm very curious about. Is like which players can really show how good they are in multiple games, and the fact that Ziggy has an auto battler background and is looking for that success here, has made it this far in this tournament. That's pretty cool. I've been critical of. I'm some sort of elitist, man, because like I'm always going to be critical of pros because it's fun. Because why not? It's like go pro in multiple games. Okay, look, that's. Anything else is unacceptable. I want to see Faker is impressive. He's pro in League of Legends. It's fine. But you know what? Go pro in another game. You know, be a superstar in multiple games. I'm going to have high standards for our pro players. So I love that Ziggy has such a nice auto battler background and is finding a little success here in Auto Chess. So hopefully he can make a comeback happen, if not for the sake of the technical issues that he underwent for trying to show his cat on stream. Maybe he deserves some victory.
Yeah, I think so here. But let's take a look. Choke God opening up here with you. But let's take a look at what everybody's doing. I see some goblins. I see some more goblins.
Yeah.
I got some more goblins.
Oh my god.
Is it more goblins? Oh my goodness. Well,
goblins everywhere. It's like something out of Lord of the Rings. You're in the Mines of Moria. That's all the goblins are coming after you in this game.
Yeah. It drums in the deep. Nobody wants to be dealing with that right now. Also loving all the Canadian flags I'm seeing here in the chat. But let's jump on board with somebody else. Let's jump on board with Monty, another one of these players that you were excited to see going on into this one. We are seeing. I don't think he's gonna. I don't. Is he gonna? Oh my goodness, they're just taunting you. But you really don't want to run that unicorn. An early werewolf though, that could actually be kind of cute. That could be kind of fun. Level 3.
Yeah, I like werewolf. I've been trending towards units that can spawn more units. Like werewolf's a good example of that. Poisonous worm. There's a few examples of units that can become a little bit more valuable because they can turn into multiple units rather than just one. So I haven't found too many ways in my personal style to incorporate the werewolf, but I'm trying to incorporate him more. And also, I believe Monte is represented by Space Station Gaming. At least he was at the. He was at the Auto Chess Invitational, so that's pretty cool. We're already seeing some teams, quite a few teams sign on some of these players from Auto Chess, so from by Drodo Studios. So cool to see that Monte, a representative of a pretty nice esports team. So we'll have to see if he can turn that into success. But yeah, it's Lord of the Rings over here. There's goblins everywhere. We'll have to see what kind of transitions happen. It is impossible for every player in the lobby to go goblin. I'm not a mathematician, but it's pretty safe to say that's not going to happen. But it is crazy how many goblins are on the boards right now for all these players. They are very strong in the early game, and the question is going to become what kind of transitions are we going to see, and who's gonna move away into goblins, and who's gonna double down.
Yeah, that is the big question. Assassins also being brought out there, of course, looking to synergize Just trying to build up that early DPS, that damage per second, and able to hunt down some of the troops. I also think it's interesting to note. I need to jump up. I'm just going to ignore the 4 unicorns down there. We're going to pretend they're just there to taunt us. I need to jump up over with Flame because Flame is doing something a little different. He got a very early Taboo Witcher, and he's sort of been playing into this right now. He's got Spirits already, which we've seen is an amazing late game composition. He's incorporating this Witcher in as well as these mages, so he's doing something very different off the bat. This might be a composition that I would say traditionally could be a little bit weaker earlier, but because he's the only one going for it, it might end up actually not doing too badly for him here because he's going to be able to get these 2-star pieces that much sooner.
Yeah, and already having that 3 dragon synergy in round 5, that's a pretty decent deal with the Umbra. Umbra is one of my favorites, one of my favorite pieces. Because again, it spawns into multiple units and the Agarsis bonus if you can scale that with something else. But already having a 3 dragon bonus here for Flame in approaching round 7. Wow, interesting battle here at the end. Water Spirit versus God of War. God of War
final shield bash.
Somehow, able to come out on top. And that's actually a little annoying for Flame because I think he was working on a winning streak. So he wanted to win at the end there, but God of War a little bit too strong.
Yes, indeed. Let's jump around a little bit here. We'll jump in with Choke God here in a bit. He's still sitting down at that lost streak, lost 20 HP already, but he's built up a pretty sizable economy to boot. We're seeing a bit of a Druid play coming in here now with Assassin for Devless, which is not necessarily a combo you see too often here. He's just running these Assassins off the start. I wonder if he'll commit to it if he's able to really level up that Abyssal Crawler, because that's such a great carry unit here. We'll continue to follow along with that. But just having this early Abyssal Guard, having this Marine bonus, that additional MR, and of course, that Corrosion, anything with negative armor. Oh, you don't know this about me yet. I love negative armor. I'm a huge fan of anything that's got an AoE debuff. I'm all about that. Agarsis, I'm all for it. Yep. I personally, anything like that, Mage as well with that negative magic resist up to 150%. If you get 9, if you stack 9 mages, 150% negative magic resist. That does a lot of damage. I'm a fan of any one of those blanket abilities.
I'm with you on that, man. And honestly, I think that's pretty good advice for anyone who is just getting into auto chess or is maybe a little bit lower ranked. That can be a pretty solid strategy to go for, just to try to climb the ladder. Find those armor debuffs, scale them well, and it's pretty entertaining to see how effective that can be. As looks like we're still looking at Devless here, going for a double Water Spirit. It's got a lot of Assassins in play, and now he finds himself at the top of the lobby on a 5-win streak. Looks like he's got the Assassins up. He's got a Marine buff going as well, and going a little bit into Druid. And I said that before. I've been a fan of Druid lately as well. I think it's a good way to pick up some sustain and just try to stay alive in a lobby. So curious to see that from Devless. Obviously, his economy is a little lower. Compare that with Choke God at the bottom of our lobby, all the way up to 40, 41. Now spending a little, getting down to 33 on his econ. Ziggy at 27. So Devless is taking a little bit of an economic sacrifice, but he's got 3 of those 2 stars on the board, as you said. He's up to 6 on his level, and he's definitely looking to keep this win streak alive.
Yeah, and he's got that Ogre Mage on his bench. He has the Venomancer now in play. He could look to transition into the Kira as this game progresses here as well, because Spirits and Kira we know can be a pretty deadly combination. But let's jump on board now to Choke God, who came into this. He is the 18 points, tied for first overall. In terms of these players, he's rocking out with Spirits Divinity right here. Again, moving into more of this late game composition here. He didn't really play into the early goblins. He didn't really look at this. He's just going to get these troops in here now. He's going to maintain his lost streak. So this is going to be very interesting to watch. I will trade over to somebody else, but interesting to know where he is right now. Let's check out Kamburo, who's one of these players we haven't got a chance to see too much here. He's got some of these goblins still, but as you can see, he's also looking to transition more. And it looks like Divinity is going to be the play for him as well. A very divine lobby so far, if I've seen one.
Yeah, really strong God of War there, trying to take most of the damage. He's got the Venomancer going as well, going up against Ziggy in this lobby, who's working on an Assassin comp, and it looks like Kamburo is going to be able to sustain here without too much trouble. Ziggy near the bottom of the lobby, so I wonder if Ziggy's trying to work on a losing streak of his own, but Kamburo doing a pretty decent job. His economy's just fine. Going for that divinity, as you said, but still strong goblins in his composition. And as I comment on that, selling 2 of his goblins, and that's something you can see again at the beginning of this lobby. We were joking about it, how many goblins were in play. That means some players have got to make a decision. They got to bounce out of goblins, sell at a strategic point, and then decide what to commit towards. So we're seeing that unfold in front of our eyes here for Devlis.
Yeah, and I think it's always fun to see how these, or what that break point is, because there is one. Like mathematically, there's a point where it goes, okay, it's time for me to start transitioning my build right now. And I usually say between rounds 12 and 15 is usually when I'm starting to look at what this is going to, how this transition is going to go. And it feels like already here in group number 3, they are really willing to transition sooner than what we've seen in other lobbies. A lot of them are already dumping out of these early game builds. They've gotten where they want to get. They're starting to grab these other pieces as they need them. And they are going to start to make that transition now. But Choke God, my goodness, 49 HP. I understand the idea of wanting to maintain a loss streak, but he has taken a lot of damage for it. He's often into Priest, which again, makes a lot of sense here. He's going to try and take that less damage for these losses. He's playing into this loss streak. And I love the fact that there is literally an alliance synergy that allows you to do that. It sort of benefits this open force strategy. But at the same time, I don't love it. I don't love the idea of sacrificing this much HP early.
It's just great because, I mean, I love all your points, but this is very interesting because Cho'Gath, we know how good he is. And we're kind of seeing a really interesting strategy here where we're seeing a player really go after that loss streak. Sure, he's sacrificing a lot of health. His economy is in pretty good shape. Everyone's economy is in pretty good shape across the entire lobby. But this is the question here. We know Cho'Gath is pretty good at this game. He just got first and second in the first 2 lobbies. So what is he going to do to turn this losing streak into success? This is a great time to take notes because we don't see this too often. So if Cho'Gath can somehow like take this win streak and win this lobby, that would be pretty crazy. But we know he's capable of doing something like that. So I'm with you. I'm going to be keeping a close eye on him, going for a mage composition. He's got some dragons in the mix. Actually, it looks like we switched over to Flame, who's got those dragons in the mix, and going with the mages. But we'll definitely keep an eye on Cho'Gath as this goes along. I feel like if people are betting, like, do you think Cho'Gath is going to get last? Like, who thinks Cho'Gath is going to get last here? Is a question I have.
I don't look. Here's the thing: if Cho'Gath has to get last, he has to live up to his name while doing so. He has to be in first place the whole time and then choke at the very end. That's how he needs. You know what I mean? Or like as this mid game, if you're going to do it, live up to your namesake. But at the same time, I still think the Cho'Gath's going to come back here. That 10 loss streak, it is truly intentional. It is calculated. And I have high expectations for when he finally decides he wants to switch out of park and he wants to put himself into drive. I expect we're going to be going at 100 miles per hour. A lot of lost streaks we're seeing right now.
He's making me nervous.
He is. He is.
He's making me nervous, dude. Cause he's all the way down at 38. So it almost feels a little desperate, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt here. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, and maybe he feels really confident with his position. Maybe he does.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to believe. I want to believe in Cho'Gath. You know, he would make a fool of us, right? He wouldn't come first and second in the 2 lobbies when he's not on stream just to get on stream and then hard. But he wouldn't do that to us as casters, right? Come on.
We'll see. This would be the moment. This is going to be the critical moment here for Cho'Gath. This next round, either A, he wins this next round and he turns it around, or B, he loses and he's in dire straits because at 38 health, if he loses another one here, I don't feel like he's going to try to keep his losing streak going from here. Like, it just feels to me 38's a little low, but you know, he's much better than me. So he might be like, whatever, dude, this is just business as usual. Don't worry.
See, okay, so he actually, I think we're about to see it now. He early leveled. He's now at level 8. He's now down to just below 30, which means he's going to lose that interest as well. This is the round where he needs to go up. This is the round where he needs to have his composition finally come online, get all those troops in, or having that wave slash do so much area of effect. And there it is. So in an instant, turning around. There you are.
Here's the thing, though, with that round, Bobula is going for a loss streak. I don't think Bobula wanted to win that at all. So Cho'Gath might have gotten a little fortunate there that he ran into a player who's working on a loss streak of his own. So Still remains to be seen what's going to happen here with Choke God. Now, what we know for sure is that his losing streak is now over. So we know for sure now that he has no more intentions of losing any further. Choke God is going to try to turn this into a big win streak. No reason not to at this point, since he just won after losing like 10, 11 in a row. So now we're really looking out for Choke God to turn this into a win streak. I feel like a loss from here in a round would be not an intention. However, he still has 2 eggs on the bench. So it's just very curious stuff.
I think he's going to be holding on to those. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. That was a big ultimate going out there, just wrecking him. But I think he's going to be holding on to those eggs if he can find those legendary pieces when he can. I don't think that loss was necessarily intentional right there. That was pretty darn solid play coming out there. All the troops dove in and they took so much damage from that Storm Spirit. That was just tough to deal with. The Thunder Spirit, I should say.
Yeah, Choke God doesn't want any more losses here. Definitely wanted to win that last one. So we'll see if Choke God can come back. His economy has definitely suffered. He's been rolling down for sure, or all the way down to 14, down to 8.
Yep.
It looks like he's finding the pieces he's looking for. He's got a level 2 Water Spirit, level 2 Storm Shaman. He's got the Spirit bonuses happening. He's up to 6 Mage on the buff. So 6 Mage, 2 Spirit right now are the only buffs he really has working for him. And it looks like now he's going up against Flame, who I believe he. He just
there it is
against him. Yeah.
Okay, so I want to note: his Storm Shaman leveled up that last round, his Source leveled up that last round, and his Tortola Elder leveled up that last round. And you saw it there. And for the record, this is the best ability name in the game. His Kamehameha went right on through and just bodied that other board. That's amazing and also hilarious to watch. I think we're on. I think it's safe to say Choke God's online.
He's got the Pulse Staff too on the Tortella Elder, increasing 10% ability damage and gaining 100% mana restoration on hit. And he's also building towards the Origin Wand, so on that Tortola Elder. So really trying to make that work for him. And again, he's got the magic synergies happening. 6 magic, all enemies losing 90% magic resistance. So it's just all that working together. Enemies lose magic resistance, and then boom, he has the AoE from Thunder Spirit. Boom, he has the AoE from Shining Dragon, and then the Tortella Elder will finish off the AoE. So really just pushing everything into the magic and taking out Monte there pretty cleanly.
Yeah, that's going to be mages there for Choke God. He's back on the rally, so we're going to go off him for a little bit. I think we kind of know he's going to be just fine. Twitch chat telling me actually losing after 14 rounds, losing only 48 HP, not too bad, or being only 48 HP, that still seems fairly low to me, but I trust you, Twitch chat. I see what's going on. So we're going to jump on board here with Komburo, who is now down towards the bottom, also running this Divinity, but flexing into Warlocks here as well, a little bit differently. So trying to go for this AoE lifesteal going on there, going to try and get as many of these units in, but he's got a lot of level 1s. His Grim Touch only level 1, his Soul Reaper only level 1, his Storm, he's actually only got a level 1 Desperate Doctor, which at this stage in the game, definitely not ideal.
Yeah. Let's see here. He's really trying to make that Divinity work. I mean, he's got 4 Divinity going, so abilities are happening all the time here. But Komburo on a 7 loss streak.
Oh no! Don't lose to the Ursas. Oh no! Oh, he's losing to neutrals. Okay, that's actually suboptimal. That shouldn't be happening. No.
He doesn't want that. He doesn't want that. So we'll see if he can come back, but it almost looks like something just went wrong for him this game.
There we go. Did he get the Scryer though? So that's actually pretty huge for Divinity. That one was actually pretty massive.
I think it's another moment where it's going to be a critical round for him. He's on a 7 loss streak. I don't know if he wants to take another loss. Might bring him a little bit too low for comfort. So this might be a moment here for Komburo to try to bring this back. Let's see how this unfolds. Of course, the function of the God of War is to absorb as much damage as possible in the beginning, and then you leave it up to the rest of your units to make the damage happen that you need to come out on top, going up against Bobula here. Now, Bobula is also on a 7 loss streak. So these are 2 players with the biggest loss streaks going up against each other.
We'll see who comes out on top. That call down though. Oh my goodness. All right. That's the fun of running that Herald there as well. But I think it's actually going to be Komburo being able to stabilize, taking down that Heaven Bomber to seal the deal there on that one. And nicely done. And now going to be able to go up to 9 as well. Pretty much everybody in the lobby hitting 9. Economy's still looking pretty good for a lot of these top players, though. That's where able 14 win streak for Devulus. And the fact that his economy, I actually need to check out his board, because the fact that his economy is that not bad per se, which is there means he has had to roll a whole lot with this 14 win streak. And he still hasn't even necessarily found the level 2 pieces he was looking for. Little things like his Storm Shaman is still not level 2. That is really not ideal, but somehow Devulus is still able to win these rounds. That is awesome for him.
Yeah, he's going a little bit more heavy into the goblins as the game goes along. With that 14 win streak, he's kind of coasting. So definitely going to be trying to win as much as he can. Definitely wants to have as big of a win streak as possible, but might be a little too much. Kumburo able to end that win streak from Devulus. So very nicely done by Kumburo. Meanwhile, Bobula at the very bottom of the lobby. Purzun also dropping a 9 loss streak and a 4 loss streak respectively. We are getting squeezed at the bottom of the lobby here. Our bottom 4 players not too far at all from each other. Choke God at 34. He's been able to turn it around. If you remember, 34 is pretty much where he was at when we were like, okay, Choke God, we know you're on a 10, 11 win loss streak, but now it's time to start winning, and he's doing that. He's been winning ever since that moment. Choke God now just a super powerful spell casting, just make the enemy disappear. It's just the enemy just disappears. If you combine all these spells together, all these AoE spells together, it is so satisfying. But I'm the one who's always on the losing end of it, so it's not satisfying when you get demolished by it, but it looks like it's satisfying to do.
We just saw Purzun get demolished by it right there. He's now down to 8 HP. Bobula is down to 4. Both of these two players running relatively, or I should say Kumburo and Purzun running relatively similar comps down there towards the bottom. But Bobula, he's the one player who really sort of failed to transition. He saw everybody else go off of goblins. He saw everybody else go off of mechs. He's like, that's cool. Then I'll try and own this. But the problem at that point, if you're going to commit to this, like, his Soulbreaker is still, he's level 2. Well, he's maybe actually able to find the level 3 here pretty shortly. But the fact that if you're going to commit to this, you need to be able to find those level 3 units if you're going to go for it. But at that point, still, you need to roll sooner. He's now level 9. So trying to find these 1 and 2 cost units is even going to get harder. So Bobula, I just think he's in a pretty rough position here. I think this might be lights out for him.
Yeah, and going up against the top player in the lobby, Devulus. So we'll see if Bobula can hang on. Also, he's got a level 1 Soulbreaker on the board. And if it's round 24 and you've got 4 HP and you're playing a level 1 Soulbreaker, it's not exactly where you want to be, and that's going to lead to a defeat for Bobula, going to be taken out by Devulus. So he's going to be number 8 in the lobby. Meanwhile, Purzun is just behind him in the 7th position on a 6 loss streak, down to 2 HP. So he might be going down soon as well. We'll see if the Venomancer can save him, although it is only level 1 there for Purzun. But slowly but surely, our players are getting knocked out. And Choke God, remember him? He's now on a 6 win streak. Definitely turning around big time and looking very scary.
I would expect nothing less. We're seeing the light rotation. Got to get all those troops over. Hang on, we're going to see, and this is really interesting, seeing the sort of where, oh, never mind, it's just the minion round. Seeing where players are positioning here. We often see bottom left side tends to be sort of the handshake, I think we tend to call this. When players sort of are going, look, we're going to meet in the middle. This is how we're going to play this out. But instead, this time around, playing it on the other side. Going to try maybe catch some players off guard. And now the level 3 God of War here for Purzun. That could actually make a difference here because he gets really, really tanky. Just going to throw a little bit of armor on him there, just to increase that a little bit. But able to soak up all that damage, that really is going to allow your other troops to sort of dish out the World of Hurt here. And a lot of CC on this board. I'm looking at this between the Desperate Doctors, having all those bouncing casts all over the place, as well as the Storm Shaman. This static storm makes such a difference in these fights.
Yeah, and I like what you're saying, especially the level 3 God of War. If, like, obviously that is a massive unit. If you can stack him correctly, you're having some fun. And that's what he's doing. He's throwing able to combine a steel plate mail in the nick of time there onto his God of War. So really wants to make sure that God of War is a focus for the enemy, for that DPS. And then it's up to the rest of his pieces to dish out the damage. And it looks like Purzun is going to survive, stay alive here. And that was a pretty comfortable victory there. So we'll see if it just doesn't have a strong board. It's like everything he has is level 1. I mean, his
But
God
it's
of his
still
level
winning.
2, his God of War is like the number 2 damage dealer. I don't know about a God of War being in your top 2 damage dealers. So I don't know if Pure Zen's be lasting much longer here. He's only got one in the bank also. So no economy whatsoever. Probably gonna get taken out.
A little bit of desperation there in that one because he's level 9, as are most of his other players. But you see like Flame and Devless, who we did actually just take out in that last round, though. So I'm not counting Pure Zoon out of it quite yet. I may eat my words in this next one, but we'll see. The fact that he has no economy means even if he is able to stabilize a little bit here, which I don't think he is, not facing into that Hulk. Oh my goodness, the call down doing so much damage. I should say, even if he was able to stabilize here, he's dead to rights. He's just trying to outlast a couple other people. He's not playing to win at that point. He's just playing to not lose.
Yep, and you said desperate. He had 2 desperate doctors out on the board. So A to B to C there, and Pure Zone gets knocked out. In the 7th place, it would have been nice if he had been able to live a little longer. As we can see, Kimburo with only 3 HP, so Pure Zone maybe could have tried to do something to outlast Kimburo, but you know, it happens. Move on, and as the chat would say, just roll higher. Just roll higher.
Just roll higher.
Yeah. Roll higher in the next game. That's all.
That's all you got to do. We're jumping on board with Kimburo now. I'm going to try and watch these players as they start to get down towards HP. Want to try and see them as they get knocked out, see where these different top boards are or how they're looking, I should say. I'm also I can't wait to check in with Ziggy at some point because he's got a level 3 Abyssal Crawler and a level 3 Shadow Crawler. That is some high intensity assassin action. We'll jump on board with him in just a bit because actually we're doing it right now as Ziggy is actually taking on Kimburo right now. We'll see how well these assassins do. But Abyssal Crawler not really able to do a whole lot right here, not able to stack that attack speed at all, just getting absolutely shut down in the midst of this entire team. The CC that I was talking about, those assassins just couldn't do anything.
Yeah, assassins and how they scale in the late game, I feel like has been a concern for a long time in auto chess. There's some units that can some pieces that and compositions that can just shut that down. So assassins can not do as well as the game goes along. But that being said, like level 3 Abyssal Crawler is pretty nuts. If you get him going like that and you stack them with items like that's a pretty crazy piece to have. So we'll see. We'll see what Ziggy does from here. If the assassin comp, if it has lived its life through the early rounds of this game, or if he can, or if he's going to have to change something up to become a little stronger.
Yeah, it's really the big question here, and it's also interesting to note here how Kimburo he's not really committing any one of these units, any one of these pieces to really being a hard carry, though. That may change a little bit as the Venomancer goes through. He's actually spreading out his items quite a bit, wanting to just try and increase the overall survivability and damage of all of them here. And this is going to be a pretty close matchup. But the piece I have to look at here, it's this helicopter level 2. That is just so terrifying. If you can get the egg on that, able to just increase that damage output as we're seeing it right now. Every time that call down goes through, it can do a lot, but not quite enough this time around. I can't believe it. Kimburo holds on.
Kimburo holds on. Has the Scryer in there, which was one of the last to survive. The level 2 Soul Reaper is interesting also. What else does he have going on? Kimburo. No Agarsis bonus with that Soul Reaper, which is a little interesting. It feels like Soul Reaper is the hardest to get amongst all the Agarsis units, especially level 2 Soul Reaper. So it's a little interesting he doesn't have an Agarsis bonus going on. But no criticism here because he's holding strong. Monte is down to 12 HP. Chokod is actually on a 3 loss streak. So the turns are tabling a little bit for Chokod, where he had a big win streak going, but now on that 3 loss streak. So keep an eye on that. We are very close with our 3 players at the bottom of the lobby here, battling for 4th, 5th, and 6th. And it looks like it could be a fight for top 3, if not just top 2, between Devless and Flame.
Yeah, that's really what we're keeping our eye out here for. The decisions of what units to try and go for 3-star, if any, at this point is really the big question. I think also maybe just looking for eggs at this point too. We are going to see the Herald attempted here for Chokod. And Chokod's really the one I want to watch. To remind folks, he's coming into this tied for first place overall across all of our leaderboards here. He's making some final adaptations here at the end. He's going to be dropping out those dragons. Going to be focusing on the wizards and stuff as well. But he's actually only at 5 mages right now. He doesn't have that full 6, so he doesn't have that full magic resistance there. That might have been a bit of a misplay there at the end, juggling around those troops, because he's going to take a lot of damage. In fact, I think he's going to take so much damage that this might just be him out of the lobby right here in...
Oh.
Okay. Easy. Calculated. Just fine. Totally fine. This is fine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering the same question as you, man. It's a pretty ominous 5 out of 6 for that mage bonus. When it was working so well a little earlier, he was wiping other players. The good news is Kimburo was knocked out. The good news for Choke God, not good news for Kimburo, I guess. But Choke God able to nestle himself into the top 5 of this lobby. The question is, can he outlive Monte and Ziggy? Okay, look, he went back up to 6. He went back up to 6 on the mage. He's got the 4 spirit. Actually going to 7 mage. Okay, back to 6.
Oh, there it is.
Going up to 4 dragon, 4 human. He's got 2 wizards. So looks like the synergies are back in business here for Choke God. And we can see how effective it is. I think he's fine.
I think he's going to be okay here. Yeah. Portola Elder, I believe. Kamehameha! Let's go! Maybe I don't believe. Maybe I don't believe. Maybe I don't believe. The goblin bonus is kicking in.
Oh. That's it. Choke got out. Just barely. Literally, just barely. That was close.
Oof.
That was pretty intense there at the end.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. I mean, when it comes down to a literal, like, 1v1. I mean, that's the thing, too. These are auto battlers. They have no control over what these do, other than they play them down, they line them up, they know where they want them to go. But at the end of the day, the AI's got a mind of itself. It's going to do what it wants to do. And sometimes those moments, just watching this play out, can be kind of heartbreaking. We are jumping on board now with Monte, who you talked about being, one of the players to watch going into this. Him and Ziggy, I want to note, they have no economy, but they're only at 9. They're going to have 1 less piece on the board than, say, Flame and Devless here. And with their economies in the shape, there's no chance that they're going to be able to level up to 10 here. So we'll see if, deciding instead to fully invest at level 9 is going to make a difference here for them. That's my big question mark.
Yeah, they just have to superpower up the units that they have with really no hope of getting up to level 10 with the economy that they have. Monte barely staying alive here against Ziggy. It's the next closest player in the lobby. Look, this is the power we see from that beast of a unit, the level 3 Abyssal Crawler. Look at it go. It's just absolutely shredding. See you later. Res. It's just like, this is what gives you nightmares sometimes. Look at how stacked this Abyssal Crawler is with the items too. Oh man, I love it. You love to see it.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you're going to commit to a carry, commit to a carry. Get them 6 stack. That's what we like to see. But it is now Ziggy here with only 2 HP left. Oh me, oh my. He's got a couple of level 3 assassins to play with though. And look at the items. Oh my goodness. I mean, this isn't actually about a lot. This isn't fully 6 stacked here. He could still do some more upgrades. I don't think he's actually gonna be able to find those here probably at this late stage. But we'll see if he can make it happen with only level 9. That's my big question mark here. He's facing off against, I think it's Flame up there at the top. Yes, it is, with those mages as well. Assassins, you'd think in some situations should be able to beat mage. We'll see if that's going to happen here. And it looks like that is going to be the case.
He's fine. He was kind of cruising actually on that one. Ziggy, the 3 stars really coming out and being strong for him. He's the only player with 3-star units. Ziggy's the only guy with shadow level 3, a 3-star shadow crawler and a 3-star abyssal crawler. No one else has a 3-star. So I mean, that kind of answers your question as far as 9 versus 10. If you have 9, that is ideal. If you have 2 of your 9 are 3-star, that's going to be good news for you if no one else has 3-star. So we'll see if those can outlast and lead to victory for Ziggy. He needs those 3 stars to put in work if he's going to stay alive.
And speaking of putting in work, this Venomancer here is certainly doing that, keeping the hopes and dreams alive there for Monte with 6 HP. But this seems to sort of be the battle of the haves and the have-nots right now. You've got these 2 players with no economy, with only level 9, no HP to work with. And then you've got like Devlis and Flame up here at the top. Devlis, who did end up going into this Goblin Kira build, which is something people have been talking about a little bit. That's a different way to sort of transition this Goblin here. Only having the level 1 Devastator though, but so close to a level 3 Venomancer. That could be huge here for Devlis. That could be massive. We'll definitely be looking to keep an eye on that one, because we've seen the power of this Venomancer, not only in this game, but in every game so far today.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and we've had a bit of commentary in the chat about that as well. The strength of the Venomancer, and are we going to see him find 3-star? Yes, we are. And check out the items on that bad boy. Check out the items on that bad boy. That's pretty scary.
Anytime you get an Axe of Fury on him, it feels. I mean, now really the last thing he's looking for is the Cuirass. That's really what he's looking to build here. Not only get the mana restoration, to get the attack speed, that AoE attack speed, he reducing the enemy armor by 8 and attack speed by 15. That is disgustingly strong. So I think Devlis, obviously he's in first place, so he's gonna be one of the ones to beat, but I think that's only gonna further emphasize this. Look at how much that this Venomancer is gonna be impacting all of those assassins around him. They are just doing no damage in his presence right now, because with that negative armor from that Chemical Rage, they melt so quickly. Combining that with that Abyssal Gaze from the Siren, that Petrify doing work, and that's Monty just done. Ziggy as well in a world of hurt, and I think Devlis really the player to beat.
Just got a high roll. Just roll higher. Get that 3-star Venomancer and get it working, and you're gonna be just fine in auto chess. Just absolute destruction. Completely loading him up with every item imaginable. He's got the Cloud Halberd, of course, disarms an enemy with the highest attack for 3 seconds, which is pretty nifty. That can work for you pretty nicely. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, it's scary, but it's also a beautiful thing. So Ziggy at 2 HP, he's got nothing in the bank. He is probably going to be out in third, and it's looking pretty apparent. Devlis first, Flame second, and Ziggy third, but we'll have to see if anything crazy happens.
Yeah, I mean, that was a pretty decent combo with the Static Storm and the Abyssal Gaze. Maybe it could have been enough under normal circumstances, but not when you've got this Venomancer here for Devlis. I don't think there's any hope. The Abyssal Crawler, you're looking at the difference between a level 2 uncommon unit versus, this Venomancer who's just a little bit too terrifying to deal with.
Yeah, I feel like if you ask anyone if they can have this Venomancer, if they know they can have this Venomancer, like, yep, sign me up. I want that Venomancer with those items. That's all I want in auto chess. Devlis has achieved. So
I also should be able to hold on here. I'm pretty sure Flame actually lost to Ziggy's other board there too, which is kind of funny. Like, if things had gone just a little bit differently, maybe Ziggy could have lived a little bit longer. But in any case, we're now down to our top 2 very different builds here. We've got Goblin Kira on one side. We've got Spirits and Mages on the other one. I love it. So much build diversity today, Axel Toss. This is amazing to see.
And Flame doesn't have any 3-stars, and his economy isn't great, but also there's no one else in the lobby, so you gotta think if Flame is able to roll down a little bit, he would definitely pick up some 3-stars. But problem is he doesn't quite have the economy to do it, so I think that's what he's really looking for. There we actually see an egg popping up, and that might be huge. That might be critical for Flame, because clearly Devlis has got the 3-star Venomancer. This is Devlis' game to lose, is in complete control here. So Flame, without any 3-stars, needs to roll down a little. Again, especially with no one else in the lobby, there's some pieces that he can get to get those 3-stars up on the board, and still not having a 3-star, down to 11 on his econ. So not really finding the pieces he's looking for.
I think this is really interesting too. So Flame is betting on the fact that he can win, or not win, at least not lose too hard one more round. He's keeping himself at 11, which means he's going to get that one little bit of additional income to try and then do a full final roll down at the end. Oh, with that Tortola Elder Kamehameha shot at the end, his prediction, I think, will be correct. He'll be no problem there. Yeah, only losing like 7 or 8 there, I think, for that one. So he's now going to have that additional little bit of gold, and he's now going to try and find the roll down he needs. He's looking for this Water Spirit. He's rolling hard all the way down.
Everyone knows
Can
this
you find it?
feeling. It's like, gosh, you need it. You're running out of money. You only have a few more clicks, and then you're like, wait, do I have to sell something so I can roll again? Maybe that's what he's thinking right now. He's like, what can I possibly sell so I can roll again to find what I'm looking for? Let's see what he ends up doing. 3 seconds left. Okay, not doing much. 17 HP, so in theory, and obviously we have a neutral round here, so a little bit of time to work with here. Can build up a little bank.
Yeah.
And I wonder if he should have saved there so he can have econ going into this next round, because he
Yeah.
just spent a lot of money going up against a neutral round. I wonder if he should have saved there. But getting another item on the board too. Let's see if he can get what he's looking for. Any 3 stars.
Honestly, like,
Any 3 stars.
I feel like even these top players sometimes just lose track of where they're on the neutral. Oh, he's looking for that Grim Touch as well. Oh, that could be big here, because that's still his level 1, and he's still got a level 1 Grand Herald in as well. Are we going to be looking to upgrade that? Man, this is just really unfortunate. Yeah, he just hasn't been able to find the units he's looking for. Down to 2, which means we got to watch Devless here. One of these games I'm going to watch and have it finished with a victory screen instead of defeat, as I'm still looking at this Venomancer, which is now just ungodly stacked, as it's just going to run right on in and do a ton of work. We'll see if the mages can try and find a little bit of a rally here with the call down from everything going on. I don't think there's much of a hope here. As once that Venomancer gets into play, that's going to be all she wrote. Well, it's petrified a little bit. Maybe I spoke too soon. I did not speak too soon. He is going to be fine. He is going to be just fine.
Total HP on that Venomancer, 12,625.
Yikes.
That is a huge number. That is massive.
Oh, there's the water spirit that there's the water spirit the flame was looking for.
Okay.
Oh man, let's jump back on board with Flame. Oh, he's so close. He's just so close to finding the level 3. That is just heartbreaking. He's literally 1 away, and he's not able to find it. Oh, Devless. At least these have been close though. Like, got to give all the props to Flame right here. He's fighting a bit of an uphill battle. He's just looking for those couple of pieces left. You have to think that RNG is paying a little bit of a factor in this, just not quite able to get the units where he needs them to be. And that's just going to be it. I guess we're always seeing that defeat screen at the end. That's going to be
I saw
GG.
victory on my screen.
Well, I guess I thought I was watching the right screen. In any case, that is going to be GG. That is going to be the game. Going over to Devless there. So congrats to him. Really, really solid performance. That was the Goblin transition. Finding the Kira is able to go into that. Not really something other people were doing. Obviously something that's popular and sort of well-known in the scene, but everybody else sort of flexed more towards mages, into assassins, into divinity. That was the big thing in that game. But really, in the end, it was sort of staying to a bit of a tried and true, building a hyper carry and playing behind him.
Yeah, a lot of curious stuff there. I think we are, all of us collectively are really understanding the strength of the Venomancer. That was on absolute full display there by Devless, securing it somehow and then building it as well as he did. And I feel like he was hiding it a little too, because he had a lot on the bench for a time, so maybe he wasn't trying to be too obvious by playing it too much on the board. So able to pick up that level 3 Venomancer, and I think the key for other players is to prevent someone in your lobby from doing that. So maybe no one else was kind of going heavy into Venomancer, and Devils was able to sneak that in. But otherwise, pretty cool game overall. Choke God in particular, I think it was very interesting to see. Although he didn't, I'm pretty sure he got 5th, but it was still pretty cool to see what he was able to do. Even with like a 10 losing streak, 11 losing streak, he made it pretty exciting too.
No, he showed how to play that strategy to perfection. We're actually going to take a look back at it in our Xperia highlights for that 3rd game. Walk us through Axel Toss, because there were a lot of really interesting moments and a ton of diverse strategies in that game.
Yeah, here we have in round 12, Kumburo going up against Devless, and this was before Devless was able to get super strong, but still the assassins we can see coming through for Devless, able to take him out, and this is going to move us into a look at Devless himself going up against Choke God. Here we see him in round 17. He's got a 10 streak going on. We can already see the Venomancer being pretty strong. He's got the Ogre Mage in there as well, and able to clean up, taking care of business, pulling up to an 11 win streak. And now we're taking a look at Flame. This is round 24. and we're seeing the power of the 6 mage here, able to just barely succeed there. Not a lot of health on those last 3 units. And then here is Devlis, the MVP of that last game, emerging victorious in the lobby. And you see the Venomancer slowly getting stronger and stronger. You look at his bench, he's got the 2 Venomancers waiting, and also an egg there, which is an ominous foreshadowing of what is to come. And of course, this moves us on over to Choke God, just seeing the strength of the 6 mage that he had. Finally, it was able to get taken out, and this was against Monte. That moment where it was just barely Choke God got taken out by Monty, and this is how close it can be in games like this. Tortola Elder, quite enough to take down Monty, and that left to Choke God in the 5th position in the lobby. And finally, the man Devlis and that level 3 Venomancer just go to town. He can kind of go get a snack and just watch this unfold. Sometimes that happens.